when the brother was like, how is this going to help get our people off crack, and how is that going to work, or how is this going to help, get people? We got all these brothers locked up in prison. How this going to help us stop killing each other? Different things like that. Well, the basis of what we teach in this book or whatever is how to use this in a practical manner. All right. So the brother was on it. Know what I'm saying? For those who don't know, we just started the YouTube. So I'm gonna go ahead and take over the class up. Anybody got any questions real quick? Anybody got any questions before we get into the topic? Go ahead.
Like around this time right here, especially this time of the year, a lot of events with the holiday spirit and everything. It's on TV, it's on everywhere you go in public, trees, lights, music, all of those stuff around. And I know the scripture says that once a man finds a wife, he don't be clean with a wife, and they start that family or whatever. But my mother was in, for a period of time, we was in the world. And while we was in the world, I mean, it didn't work out between her and my father.
Okay.
And they're not together no more. But my mother, she knows that we are the Israelites. They don't eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. They try their best, but there's no eggs right there. And I know it also says where there's no eggs to possess in the spoil. Like, what do I fight them doing this too, or do I just worry about? Because they, and just like really the only time that, by us not being in our own and having things our way, this is about the only time of the year where people can actually have time off. They people, do we participate in that and still not be counted in that number, or is that possible? We just got to how we handle those things.
All right. So let me make sure I understand your question before I answer it. What you asking is, even though you know that the law says do not participate in these holidays, but this is the only time that we get off, would it be okay to spend that time with your family? Is that what you're asking?
Do that situation, like, or if it's like I don't just want to say like on Thanksgiving, like let's say after Thanksgiving they got the Black Friday, and you under regular circumstances you can't afford the things that that you would be able to afford on that. And you would rather not be still counting that number, or you stay away from us, or you stay away from everything that got something to do with it, or can we like improvise during this time without being a part? If that lawful, or do we stay all the way away from?
All right. So it's a heavy question, and I think I'm gonna end up taking a lot of time on it. So let me just go ahead and do that, and I'll answer your question. First of all, it's the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. We started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, back in 1969. We're now under commanding General Yohana. I am Priest and Officer Kazak Damar. We here at the West Connect Library in Jacksonville, 103rd Library. If anybody in town, you will come in. Blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians only. If you're on the YouTube, you have any questions, go and put them in the chat, and we'll get to them. So the brother's question was, we in this time now, like say for instance, I'll give you an example. I get 2 days off a week, right? One of my 2 days is Thursday. I ain't want to be off, but that's the day we off. Well, what if I want to go see my family and do this, that, or the other, because this is the only day that I got off, right? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like he's saying certain things. All right, what you have to understand is it's really spiritual. It's really spiritual what goes on or whatever. Like everything that you do, this is not, okay, you can physically sin, but for the most part, Israel went away from the Most High by wanting to be like the other nations, by wanting to do what the other nations was doing. That's the biggest thing you have to deal with. You understand? So when you ask that question, I'll give you an example. I've been in the truth for, I'll say a little bit over 4 years, right? 4.5. And when I first came into the truth, there were certain things that I wouldn't do, even though it's not a sin, because you want to separate yourself from the world, because you want your family to understand that you are a different person. You're not the same person you used to be, right? So I'll give you an example. I remember calling and asking Officer Shawar, I was like, well, I ain't doing the whole Christmas tree. I ain't celebrating Christmas. I ain't doing this. But I like Christmas music. Right? Do I gotta stop listening to Christmas? Is that a sin? Somebody answer that. Is Christmas music a sin? Is it? It's not a sin?
It is not a sin. There's no law that says not to listen to Christmas.
All right. The brother is right, and the brother is wrong at the same time. I'm gonna tell you why. Go ahead.
I heard Captain Sakawar say it's not a sin, but at the same time, the spirit behind it, and like Christian music, it can be hypnotized, put you into that spirit.
Nah, I understand that, but I'm talking about Frosty the Snowman. I'm talking about Jingle Bells, nigga. Is it a sin against Jingle Bells? So why would you do it? What's the number one? Somebody tell me the number one thing we hear as far as when it comes to the holidays, the number one verse in the Bible that you hear when it comes to the holidays, the number one precept that gets pulled. Go ahead.
If I could, it's the customs that the people are vain.
All right, give me that. Jeremiah 10:2 real quick. Here's the thing, my Shamar. All right. My pops called me and said, we decided to do Thanksgiving at our house this year. So I just want to see if you want, you can come by and get a plate. I know you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I was just letting you know we're going to have some food over here. Right? So my response to him was, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm not coming over there, but I will be over there Friday to get that plate. He like, I got to work Friday. I ain't going to even be there. What's my point? It's set up that way so you would do what everybody else is doing. It's always going to be easy to do what everybody else is doing and hard to do what is right and to separate yourself. If you cannot afford something or whatever the case may be, maybe you know somebody who's going to Black Friday. I wouldn't be out there. I'm not going to sacrifice looking like I'm a part of what the world is doing when I'm in the truth. That don't make no sense. If that's the case, you know what I'm saying? You might as well do everything else that they're doing. What you have to do is be strong enough to not look at it like it's the end of the damn world if you miss a $200 damn TV. If you miss whatever the hell they eating. If you miss time that you could be spending with your family. What has to happen if you're going to be in the truth is you have to make an honest decision and say, I'm going to stand with the Lord no matter what happens. It don't matter what everybody else is doing. I'm not doing it. I'm going to do what the Lord say do, and you got to stand on that. Now, here's the difference. Now, what I'm telling you is when you get a little seasoning, when it's not so fresh to you, when you're not used to doing it, then you can make the decision and say, okay, now I'm strong enough to, at certain times, I know the brothers in academy, I don't know if y'all got there yet, where, Captain Saga War was talking about, if you go to a 4th of July celebration or whatever, everybody got on red, white, and blue, and you wear all black or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Every time they bring it up, you be like, man, I don't care nothing about no 4th of July, but give me one of them hamburgers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a difference when you get a little season. They know you ain't with it. They know, but I would say this. Until you done been to 3 or 4 Passovers, until you done missed out on 3 or 4 Christmases, I would just make myself not be a part of what everybody else is going on. I'll go ahead. Whoever got it, let me get it. Go ahead. Tell them where you at.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the custom of the people are vain.
Stop right there. This is the main one you hear. Now, if you don't understand, this is the prophets right here. This ain't the law that was given to the Lord through Moses, or given by the Lord through Moses. This is the prophet telling you how you should deal with certain stuff, and it's all in the same spirit. The whole spirit of the law was to separate you from the other nations. That's why you are a special people. That's why you should not be a part, but we always want to be like them. You think I don't like macaroni and cheese? You think I don't like collard green? Hell, you think honey baked ham don't taste good? Why am I not doing it? It's there. It's cheap. Pork is cheap. What if that's the only thing I can afford? Stand with the Lord, Doc. Stand with the Lord and say, no, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to deal with your Thanksgiving. I'm not going to help you celebrate the murder of my brothers and sisters that's Native American. They part of the 12 tribes. What if they had a day where they celebrated the murder of slaves? Would you take part in that up? You know how much time I don't get to see my mama? I done set up 3 barbecues on my family that I was like, I'll pay for everything. Y'all just come over. Them niggas never come over. And then every July, 4th of July, Memorial Day, and Christmas and Thanksgiving, they always get together. Why couldn't they get together the weekend I set up? Why they got to get together the weekend Esau set up? You know why? It's a spirit behind that. It's a spirit behind it. People do what they want to do. Give me James chapter 4 real quick and verse 17. This is what I'll tell you. Fight that demon out. Fight that demon. I'd rather not see. Go ahead.
That's really what I was asking, because I know I'm not going to do it, but I was saying, like, I have family members that kind of like they act like they want to, be a part, but they don't actually have no head right there. It's one of our situations, that my mother has to be one of the mothers where the father wasn't around, and I'm like the oldest son.
Right.
And,
so you saying she kind of trying to see what you into, right? She trying to see what.
Like them demons too, or do I focus on?
Oh, you mean fight your mama demons?
Yeah, like the rest of my family. I got a sister who don't have husbands. I got a mother who, you know what I'm saying, we was in the world.
If they look at you, if they look at you as that's your responsibility, or that's your job in the family, is to kind of lead them a little bit until they do get a man, then I would be adamantly against everything, even like way past where I would be at. I'd be like, you know what I'm saying, going hard against Thanksgiving. I would go hard against Christmas, just so they know that you ain't with that. Being that if they willing to try to follow you and see what you all about, it may get them the real understanding of why we don't do it. You got it up? Go. I'm gonna let the brother read this. Go ahead.
James chapter 4, verse 7.
Can y'all hear the brother? All right, go ahead, Doc.
James chapter 4, verse 7.
Did I say 17, Doc?
I think it's 7.
Go ahead, see what it say. Submit
yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
That is not what I wanted, but that's right on time. go to verse 17. We're going to break that one down. Resist the devil and he will flee. Submit yourself to God. That is not what I wanted, but that's what the Lord wanted. So go ahead and read that one out.
James chapter 4, verse 17. Therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin.
Therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it's a sin. It ain't written in the law, but you know you're supposed to do the right thing. At the end of the day, do not cut yourself short from blessings like because of your feelings. This is what we taught here in the truth. Like, you know, a lot of brothers, they love their woman. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But you cannot allow your feelings to have you, what's the word? I don't want to say it's a certain word I'm looking for, to where you cutting yourself short. It say, why trimmeth thou ways to seek? It's like it's a certain word I'm looking for. Do not let go ahead.
I think it was why trimmeth thy ways to seek love. I think it was something like that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is what you will end up doing is you will end up caring more about your people that you see every day, like your mama and your wife and your kid, than the Lord, who you don't see. And the key is you got to stand strong and not be in your feelings at all when it comes to this truth. Otherwise, if you don't do it, who gonna do it? Who's gonna say no to fried turkey and candy yams and all of this other stuff on a day where they killed the North American Indians? Who gonna do it? If the brothers in the truth don't do it, who gonna do it? If we don't set an example for the rest of the 1 second, if we don't set an example for the rest of the world, how are we able to be put in a position to get a crown to rule up under Christ, to where it ain't gonna be no Christmas, to where it ain't gonna be no, where we gonna keep the Sabbath, where we gonna do? We gotta do it now so that we earn the right to show other people and lead other people in order to do it. Mashamar, I could do a whole class on this, and if you want, I'll do it next week. I really want to get to the topic, but do you understand? No, I want to hear from Trooper Mashamar, and that's it. You understand? You need some more precepts out now, or you get it?
What I really wanted to know is, is it okay for me to fight those things too? Because I believe if I was to go to them and be like, hey, listen, this ain't how we, because they can get caught up in the moment and all that stuff. And they listen most of the time. They don't eat no more twine, none of that stuff. So I just to them.
Salakia, so all you should have to do is tell them, the Lord is against that because that was the murder of his people. And if they still want to do it, then allow them to do it. Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. My mama, them last year, they went to go and get my sister for Thanksgiving, right? They go down there to get her. The car won't start. They can't get back, right? So guess who they called to come get her? They called me. I called for counsel. I'm like, Salakia, should I go get him? Y'all know the brother I came up under, he didn't feel no type of way. Like, he was like, it's up to you. I'll let him stay. So, you know what I'm saying? I ain't there yet. I go to get him. But on the way back, I had my cousin in the car read the whole thing about the truth behind Thanksgiving and how they murdered and slaughtered the Indians and all of this other stuff and everything. I make them listen to it. They like, this nigga is crazy. They needed me up. I'm chilling. I ain't got nothing to do today. I ain't cooking no turkeys. I ain't doing nothing. I couldn't get y'all, man. Y'all want to do this, that, or the other. All right. I ain't going to leave my people stranded because I wouldn't want them to leave me like that. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you what the truth is. And then now it's up to you for you to go ahead and do what it takes. Now, you got to also remember this, Mashamar. You can fight your demons. You can fight your ribs demons. But everybody else's demons you cannot fight. You could try. You could tell them the truth. You can send them to the men of the Lord. You can show them the classes. You can get them the information. But you can't fight their demons because at the end of the day, it might not be for them to learn. It's one of the hardest things I had to learn coming into the truth, that everybody ain't going to get it. Everybody's not going to understand. Everybody's not going to want to hear it. Everybody's not going to want to leave. It's like in the Matrix where he say, it's some people that's so hopelessly dependent on the Matrix that they'll try to take you out when you try to awake them. You understand? Here's the precept for what I just said. This is the precept for what I said. Give me Romans chapter 9, verse 16 real quick. Actually, verse 15. And I want you to read this, my Shamar. This is where Officer Shawar had to take me every week. I want my mama in this truth. I want my brothers in this truth. I want my best friend from the world in this truth. I want sisters that I used to deal with that we ain't never fell out. We just stopped dealing with each other. I want them in the truth too. I want everybody in the truth. That ain't what the Lord wants. What you have to understand is the Lord do not want everybody. He ain't choose everybody. He's calling you. And you may have to leave the people you love in order to follow the Lord out. And that's the hard truth that nobody wants to deal with. If I'm going this way and I'm headed this way in this truth, and I got a rib that want to look back like Lot's wife, I got to keep pushing up. I got to keep moving. That's me not following my feelings, because at the end of the day, I love my damn wife. But I'm going to do what thus saith the Lord. You understand? Go ahead and read the scripture for me real quick, and then we'll get to the topic, if Lord allow.
Romans chapter 9, verse 15. For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion.
Stop right there. This is something that Officer Shawar had to take me to with my little Christian self every week when I was coming into the truth. It's not about how much work you do. It's not about how many demons you fight for them. It's not about, all you could do is lay the seed. You could tell people the truth when they ask, be willing to give them a response, point them in the right direction, send them to the school, send them to the website, send them to a YouTube video. All you could do is that. After that, it's up to the Lord. The Lord has to tell them to change. The Lord has to put his spirit on them to follow and keep this truth. The Lord has to have them give up Christmas. That was a big fight the first year in my house. My real didn't even care about no damn Christmas. She like, I like the lights. I found out that I had that the Christmas tree was Nimrod, and I had one in my living room. I remember Captain Katazai at the time. He probably was an officer. He might have been a trooper. He laughing at me too. Nigga, you got Nimrod in your house. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, so we ain't doing this. I done packed that joint up. Me and my rib getting into it and all out. I just wanted to do the right thing. I ain't know no better. You know how they say you have a zeal for the Lord, but not according to knowledge. The Lord had to have mercy on me in order for me to see it. And this is the answer to your question now. Go to verse 16.
Verse 16. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the power that showeth mercy.
Right there. It ain't for the people who putting in the most work. It ain't for the people who got their sons or their husbands or whatever fighting for them. It's because the Most High allows them to get that mercy in order to see that them continuing to follow the other nations is going to lead them down the path of destruction. So like I'm telling you, you tell them the truth, you tell them what you learning, you tell them what you know, you direct them into, getting in class. It's a lot of brothers in here that ain't got ribs. It's a lot of brothers in here that got ribs and looking for another rib, whatever the case may be. It might be some good brothers in here that's going to make sure they treat they woman like Christ loved the church. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe that ain't what they want. They might want a sucker. They might want a nigga they can run over. They might want a nigga that they don't have to say kind I want kind to. They can be like, whatever, nigga. They might. It ain't up to you to worry about that. You fight the demons that's around you in your realm and get them to hell from around you. You got me? All right, somebody else said Salakia.
That was me.
Go ahead, Gabal.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I could get some clarification. You know the word I'm trying to say.
Clarification.
Yeah, that's the word. So like why we don't do like Thanksgiving and all those other holidays and stuff like that. Like I get that, but like I talked to Officer Shawar all about this before. I don't remember, it was like a while ago, but like I was thinking about like the whole Black Friday thing. I was gonna like go buy me a laptop because like it was just gonna be a lot cheaper. But like I'm not in like I'm not in that spirit. I just want to do it because like that day is gonna like a lot of things gonna be cheaper.
Listen, go ahead. Go ahead and go to Black Friday with the mobs, right? And if something happens to you, like you see happening on YouTube, or you get caught up in that, or whatever the case may be, with a bunch of lunatics fighting over a damn TV, then that's Lord be with you. All I'm gonna tell you is this: it ain't no sin in buying you no TV. It ain't no sin in going and getting you a laptop. You need a laptop. They got one advertised for $300, and that mug been $800 the whole year. Go ahead and get it out. I ain't gonna be out there. You know why I ain't gonna be out there?
You got a question out of
what?
I got a question.
Yeah, I'm asking you why I ain't gonna be out there. You think I don't need I need a laptop? If I give you the bread, can you pick me one up while you out there with them fools?
I won't be out there. I don't want.
Huh?
I won't be out there. I don't want.
Why? You need a laptop, huh? What's wrong? I'm telling you this, there is no law against Black Friday, huh? There is no law against Black Friday. What all right. How can I put this? Give me 1 Thessalonians 5:22. All right, here's the deal, right? Black Friday traditionally is the beginning of the holiday season. Thanksgiving actually is, then Black Friday, and then all these different days leading up to it. It's where people go to buy Christmas gifts, to be honest with you. I know it's done got to a point where now, you know what I'm saying? Like they got Cyber Monday, right? They got Cyber Monday. You ain't gotta leave your house and you still can get the deals. You can order it online, whatever the case may be. A lot of times now, if everybody don't buy up all the stuff that they got at this price, which they only have a little bit of it anyway, they have the same sales later on in the day. I've been in retail for a few years now. Here's what I'm telling you. If you need a laptop, go get a laptop. Just be careful. Whatever spirit you operating in, ain't nobody, them people that's there, they ain't in the truth. And I don't like being around a whole bunch of people that ain't in the truth. I would rather be around y'all. You know why? I know you ain't gonna steal my wallet. I know you ain't gonna hit me side the head for no damn TV. I know you ain't gonna try to talk to my wife when I ain't looking. I know this. I can lay my wallet down on the table at any ISUPK event and it'll be there. My cell phone, it'll never come up missing. This is the type of thing that nobody gets the opportunity to have in the world. Nobody. Just changing the scenery. I said it a long time ago. I grew up around gangsters, thugs, goons, bitches, hoes, all of that. I ain't never been around brothers and sisters until I came in this truth. I don't want to be around nobody else. There's too many other people around there. I gotta be looking around. I gotta be on Shamar. I can't even chill. Ain't no law against it. If you need to go get you a laptop, go get you a laptop. The key is make sure you ain't in that spirit like, oh, it's Black Friday. I'm finna go get a laptop. Nigga, did you go on overstock.com? Did you go on eBay? It's a $300 laptop on there right now. It's been up there. Somebody trying to get rid of it. And it ain't Black Friday yet. Give it to me, y'all.
Come.
Nice and strong.
1 Thessalonians 5:22. Abstain from all appearance of evil.
Read it again.
Abstain from all appearance of evil.
Read it again.
Abstain from all appearance of evil.
Keep going.
and the very power of peace sanctify you wholly.
Stop right there. Separate yourself from evil. Don't do it up. What we just read in James, even if you know it's something wrong, even if it ain't no law and you feel like it's wrong, don't do it up. I remember my first Passover, I called and I was asking Captain Katazai, well, can we drink beer? It's got yeast in it. Or can we do this? Or can I eat this? Or can I eat that? And what he told me is a little rhyme or whatever. It sounds kind of corny, but he was like, if in doubt, just go without. If in doubt, just go without. Meaning, if you ain't got to do it and you don't know, if you got a little feeling about it, you feel like it's wrong to do it, just don't do it. Abstain from the appearance of evil. See, you in the truth, you're going to be out there with your One West headpiece on, with your One West rings, with your armbands on, fighting for a $300 laptop. They like, look at them niggas out One West out there at Black Friday getting their Christmas gifts. Nah, I'm messing with you, but I'm putting it in, I'm trying to get you to understand. Everything ain't no law against it, Doc. So it ain't like nothing, the Lord gonna severely punish you for it. But it's the spirit you want to operate in, moving forward in this truth. You'll get to a point where you won't even think about going out there. Maybe you ain't there yet, Doc. That's why I said, go ahead. If it's something that you feel like you need, and that's the only day out of the whole 365 days in a year that you feel like you can get it at a price where you want it, then you go ahead and do that. But as a brother that's been in the truth a little bit longer, I ain't even thinking about it. I'm not gonna sit at home like, damn, I missed out on a $300 laptop, or $200 laptop, a $99 60-inch TV. Man, forget that TV out. I ain't need it no way. Now, if you getting a laptop because you're trying to get in this truth and help me out with this video department down here, then go ahead and get that laptop, take your officer's test, and come on in here and help me. If you're getting it to play video games and to get on Facebook and to watch porn, nigga, man, that can wait out. Next question. You got me though, right, Gabar?
Yes, sir.
You got me, Gabar?
I'm out of one card. I understand that one. Thanks for that.
All right, no sweat. Go ahead, Shiratazah.
Out of one card, sir. So out of one. It was pertaining to the question that Trooper Marshall Moore asked.
All right, go ahead.
Where it says, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy. I know the precept where, Yahweh Shai, said he chooses you into the truth and you don't basically choose yourself.
Right.
My question is, the people that he has mercy on is us in the truth, but the ones that he don't have mercy on, are those people just going to be civilians in the kingdom, or are they going to be like bottom of the barrel people, or like what's going to happen to them?
All right. Those people are going to die along with the nations that they want to hold dear to. They're going to have to die before we ever get the kingdom. They will not make it into the kingdom. They will not serve under Christ. They will be born again to the people who do make it children in the kingdom. In other words, they'll be a part of the 2/3 that is not going to make it. All right. And they'll have to be born once we have the kingdom, to where they'll never know about Christmas or any of these other things, or Thanksgiving, because Christ will be ruling and we'll be keeping the Passover. We'll be keeping our Hanukkah. We'll be keeping all the things that the Lord said to keep, as opposed to that. So I don't know if I answer your question. You need a precept on what I'm talking about?
I was just trying to figure out, are they going to be slaves also? Or they're just going to be regular civilians?
They're going to be civilians. They're not going to be, but they will be over the other nations because they'll be Israel. I think I can leave you with that answer because you're an officer. If anybody else don't understand what I'm talking about, you could just ask the question. But you got me though, Shiratas, all right? They will be civilians, and those who are now teaching people that the law is done away with and all of that other stuff, they'll be least in the kingdom of heaven, is what Christ said. So if you're against keeping the laws and all of that now, you'll be least in the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, you'll be like the broke white people now. Is Esau's kingdom, and they live in the hood with you. It'll be like that. I underbar. Anybody else? Nobody else. All right. Any questions online? All right. So what we went over the last couple of weeks. Go ahead.
I have a question. I didn't even get the verse. Okay, I had a question the other day. It's concerning a verse where it says that Yahweh has the key to hell and kingdom.
Okay.
I can't remember what verse. I had it. I wanted to know, but I understand that hell means a condition of state, as well as the kingdom of heaven. So I just wanted to know, what did it mean by when he said, he has the both?
What did it mean by Yahweh when he has the key to the kingdom of heaven and hell or whatever? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, I gotta get that.
Okay, what's the key? What do you know what the key is?
No, I don't.
Okay, you know what heaven and hell is, right? All right. Let me get the scripture for you, and we'll go to it. I'll try to break that down. Revelation chapter 1. Verse 18.
Oh yeah, and another thing too, because I remember, in Christianity, they said that when he, while he was dead for, the 3 days before he risen, they said he was in hell. So yeah, I don't know where they get that from, but that's, I guess that's where the key comes from. But yeah, I was told that he was.
All right, where they get that from is when it was talking about Jonah, and when it was making an example of how Christ was, it talked about how when Jonah was inside the fish, how it was hell or whatever for 3 days, just like Christ. And then he rose again, or whatever the case may be. It's a lot more breaking down to it than that. If you look at it on its surface, I guess they can say that, but that's not really what the Bible is talking about. All right, so that's a whole nother topic, but that's where they get that from. Somebody said Salakia?
Oh.
All right. Revelation chapter 1, verse 17. Somebody give it to me, Yamayan.
Con. Revelation chapter 1, verse 17. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. And he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, Fear not, I am the first and the last. I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. So be it. And have the keys of hell and of death.
This is what you're talking about, or are you talking about a different scripture?
A different one. I found it. It's from Matthew. It is Matthew chapter 16, verse
18.
19.
Yeah, I got you. Go to Matthew 16 and 19. I wanted to get to my topic tonight. We'll see if the Lord allow. Wanted to finish up what we was going over and kind of finally get to what the Bible has to say about multiple wives. You got it? Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 16, verse 19.
18. Start at 18.
It's like it. 16 and 18. And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church.
So this is Yahushua talking to Peter. He's saying upon Peter, like based on what Peter does, that's where he's going to build his body of men. The body of Christ will be built based on Peter. All right, go ahead.
Come. And the gates of hell shall not prevail against it.
And all those things that's wicked and evil and against the Lord is not going to prevail against this body. Keep going.
Come. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven.
Stop right there. And I will give unto thee the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Right?
Come.
Sis, what is heaven?
Heaven is, I can't remember this. Heaven is, I hear it all the time.
Somebody help the sister out.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, officer.
It's rulership.
Heaven is rulership. Where is the rulership taking place? Sharatazah.
Right here on earth, sir.
Heaven is a condition of rulership right here on earth. All right. It's people like right now, as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are in their hell. They wake up every day to situations they don't know what they're gonna eat, how they're gonna pay their rent. They gotta go enslave for another nation just to be able to try to get by and get the necessities. Meanwhile, like General Muhammad was bringing out, you know what I'm saying? You got actors, Mel Gibson and all these kind of people in Hollywood that has 200,000 acres of land, that has billions of dollars. And it's hard for us to save up one rack to get to the Passover. You understand? So the keys to this condition, to get to this condition, are found in the Bible. What Christ is telling Peter is he's going to give him the keys to getting and becoming a part of that condition, which is rulership. Now, the quickest and easiest key that I can give you to rulership and being on top and being in heaven is what we bring up most in the Bible, but what we don't bring up enough. Somebody give it to me. It was just read in yesterday's class. That's all I'll tell you. Come on, man. Help me out. Go ahead.
Faith. Belief.
No, that's not what I'm looking for. Let's get it. Deuteronomy 28:1. I ain't got time. No, you already there? Go ahead, read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 8.
28. 28.
Deuteronomy chapter 7.
Chapter 28 out. Never mind. Somebody else get it. Go. Let's get it.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. It shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
You see that? That's the key to heaven right there. Yahushua was bringing back the law to Israel, a nation who had forgotten the law as law, a nation to people who didn't even know that they were Israelites, didn't even know that the Lord cared about them because they were suffering the same thing you suffering in America up under Rome, right? They were suffering this same thing that you suffering up under Rome. So what he was telling Peter is he gonna give them the keys for us getting back on top. The keys to us getting in that position to where we were over the Romans and the Romans were not up under us. That's all he was talking about, sis. I know there ain't no deep answer that you was looking for. But that's what I'm talking about.
Actually, I was looking for a deep answer.
I know. This is what I'm trying to tell you. What you got to understand about the Bible is Yahushua came to make it very simple. He came to make it very simple. And the world want to make it like you got to be a whiz kid, like you got to be an intellectual, like you got to be a scholar in order for you to get it. But nah, what he said is he'll make it where like you could be a 2 or 3 year old. You must become as babes in order for you to get it, right? That's what he was talking about. Everything in this Bible is very simple. Thou shalt not. People want to make it, want to make it deep so they can muddy up the water. Well, wait. Well, what if this, that, or the other? It's just like the Pharisees used to do with Christ. They'll come in and they'll say, well, what if a woman had a husband and she died and her husband died and then the last one died? Whose wife is she? Like, how is that going to help fix a nation of people that's sinning? You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it, like anytime you think something very simple, it's always something that people are doing to try to make sure that you don't understand the most basic key. That's why it's talking about it's not grievous. Check your Facebook inbox out. I'm sending you 2 different things I want you to read from. But yeah, it ain't that deep. It ain't never that deep. That's how we do what we do. If I had to be deep, I can't do it. I'm too much of a clown. I play too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, to be honest with you, what it's about is learning the basics of this. That's why I teach what I teach in this class. We could try to, I know some heavy stuff too, man. And the brothers can tell you, because I'm speaking to brothers that's high ranking individuals in this school, and they teaching me stuff, and I'm like, okay, I needed to know that. You got it? Yeah. I sent you another one too. But yeah, that one, all he was saying to Peter is he's going to build up his school on Peter, and he was going to give him the things that it was going to take to put Israel back on top again, which is these laws, statutes, and commandments. This is our wisdom and our knowledge in the sight of the nations. That's what it says in the Bible. All right? All right. What we're going to do is going to go ahead and get a little bit of this. I ain't going to let y'all escape, right? So what does the Bible talk about? Now, here's the deal. I may or may not get to what the parts I want to get to. All right, we got less than an hour in the class. I wanted to make sure I answer these questions. And to be honest with you, I thought we was finna just go into full out Thanksgiving. I thought that's what we was finna do. But the topic that I wanted to do is I wanted to continue on with the topic. First thing we did, we talked about marriage. What was marriage according to the Bible? Somebody answer that real quick. Go ahead.
Marriage is a union between a man and a woman, consummated and continuously nurtured through sexual intercourse.
This cat gave the whole definition out. Sex is marriage according to the Bible. Is more important who you share your body with than the piece of paper. We went through that. If you don't want to go back to the tape. Then we talked about divorce. And then we talked about adultery. And we supposed to got on what the Bible says about a man having more than one wife, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch on that, but I don't know if we're going to get to the scriptures. I really want to bring out the history of why we even have to talk about this. Any culture in America you can go to, and what you'll find is, even in Chinese culture, it is not unheard of or far-fetched for a man to have more than one wife. African culture, it is not unheard of or far-fetched for a man to have more than one wife. Arabic culture, any culture on the planet besides one culture where it's a problem, and that's Esau's culture. That's the culture that came out of Rome. All right. And the reason it's like that is because by nature, Esau does not have an attraction to women the way that other people on the earth do. That's why they only had 1 or 2 babies. Even back in the days, they felt that a homosexual relationship was, I forgot how they put it, but it was more so a regular relationship, and they only dealt with women to procreate and to conceive babies to keep their race going. All this can be looked up. You don't believe me. But anyways, what I'm going to have the brother do is read some things, and it'll kind of set the tone for what we want to go into, and then we'll bring out some scriptures on it. I might have to have a part 2 to this just based on wanting to make sure I answered all the brothers and sisters' questions. So lucky if I ain't, go as deep as I could on y'all questions, but if y'all have any other, we can get to it. Go ahead, Op. Tell them what's the name of it. You might want to scoot a little closer to What's the name of it?
This was called Women's Life in Greece and Rome.
Women's Life in Greece and Rome. Go ahead.
Legal status in the Roman world.
Nice and loud, Op.
The Julian marriage laws. In 18 BC, the Emperor Augustus turned his attention to social problems at Rome. Extravagance and adultery were widespread. Among the upper classes, marriages was increasingly infrequent and many couples who did marry failed to produce offspring. Augustus, who hoped thereby to elevate both the morals and the numbers of upper classes in Rome and to increase the population of native Italians in Italy, enacted laws to encourage marriage and having children.
Stop right there. What was happening is Esau was going through a time where very few men were getting married, and those that was not producing offspring. So Augustus, who was emperor over Rome at the time, enacted these laws to almost make people have to marry, to almost make somebody be with it. And now you got to understand, at the same time, while they were getting married, on this piece of paper, there was men that was dealing with other men, that was men that was dealing with other men's women, different things like that was going on, meaning that they didn't love the woman that they had at the house. They just did it because it was something that was popular to do in their society. Now, these laws, let's get to them.
Including provisions establishing adultery as a crime. The law against adultery made the offense a crime punishable by exile and confiscation of property. Fathers were permitted to kill daughters and their partners in adultery. Husbands could kill the partners under certain circumstances. And
stop right there. Where did they get this from? That you was able to kill somebody if they were adultery? Don't nobody know but Trooper Yummy? Go ahead, tell them, Trooper Yummy. They got it from the law. They got it from the Bible, right? But these are Romans. These are Greeks. This is not their culture. They don't even know what adultery is. To them, adultery is sleeping with a man sleeping with anybody but his wife, and a wife sleeping with anybody but their man, when that is not the culture of the Israelites. That's not the culture of a lot of nations. Or a man. So he would enact these laws. Remember, what time was this? 18 BC? 18 BC. This is before Christ was born. Go ahead.
Husbands could kill the partner under certain circumstances and were required to divorce adulterous wives. Augustus himself was obliged to invoke the law against his own daughter Julia, and relegated her to the island of Panettiere.
Is this talking about what else they got in there?
The peasant soldier was badly received, modified as part of the opposition, such as policy.
All right, go to the next one now.
Con. Men must marry. Rome, 131 BC.
Here we go. Now, I gave you the backdrop of what was going on in Rome. Now, what you have to remember is America is an extension of Rome. Everything that they were doing in Rome during the time of Christ is the same thing that they're instituting in America. All right? This is the same stuff that the Israelites who was in Rome during the time of Christ was going through. That's the same thing we're going through now. And the same way, when Christ tried to come up and speak up against it, they wanted to kill him, is the same way they might feel about you for speaking up against all the atrocities and things that's done to our people. Just so y'all niggas know. Salakia. Go ahead.
Con. Speech of the censor Quintus Calesius Metellus Macedonicus, Salakia, about the law requiring men to marry in order to produce children.
What is this? This the marriage in Rome, in ancient Rome?
Oh, same women. Which other one?
Yeah, go to the other one now.
Okay.
What they did is they came up with a law where you had to marry in order to produce children. That was the key, what I wanted to get out of that whole thing. Because of that, now, and they required you to marry and be married to one person because they didn't love their wives. They didn't want to stick with them in the beginning. And you could have as many women as you want. You just can only have one at one time. That's why he said you can divorce them and go get another one. Go ahead, marriage in ancient Rome. You got this coming up?
They want me to sign up for something.
No, we ain't doing that. That's it right there.
I know, but it's not going on. You have to.
All right.
Put some other foolishness.
All right, let me see if I can get it. I might have to read it for y'all. All right, so the whole point of what I'm trying to bring out is the whole thing that they set, the precedents that they set in America as what a marriage is supposed to be and all of this. This was based off ancient Rome. This was not Israelite culture. All right. Transcripts of marriage in ancient Rome. Marriage in ancient Rome was a strictly monogamous institution. Roman citizens by law could only have one spouse at a time. Could they only have one wife? One spouse at a time is what it says. Marriage had myths with the abduction of the Sabian woman, which may reflect the custom of the bride abduction, old age, and marriage. Married persons with no children could take no more than one half of the inheritance of legitimacy. Apply only to women between the ages of 25 and 59 and women between the ages of 20 years of age. Here's the point, and this is what I'm trying to go to this for. In ancient Rome, this was where you get monogamy from. This is where you get the fact that a man, adultery. Let me go up here. Adultery. A married woman committed adultery mainly, Salakia. A married man committed adultery mainly when his female partner was a man's wife or unmarried daughter. Adultery was normally considered a private matter for families to deal with no criminal offense. A husband had an old right to kill his wife if he caught an adultery. This is the same thing the brother was reading, right? Divorce. Divorce had always been a common occurrence. Men have always had the possibility of divorcing their wives. Now, if you go into looking up, and the easiest way to do it is Wikipedia, because I can't bring out all the books that they have on this about men having more than one wife. Is if you look up the numbers, women outweigh men. If you look at everybody, you know everybody's having daughters. My little girl, everybody's having daughters, and they might have a son. If you got boys, that's a blessing from the Lord. In China, they were starting to kill the daughters if they had a daughter. They ain't want nothing but sons. because there's so many people and so many women over there. Somebody got their phone on mute? Everybody check your phone. Make sure it's on mute. All right. So I'm bringing all this out to say this. What we know about marriage is not what the Lord says about marriage. What we think we know about, what a righteous marriage is, it has nothing to do with us. It has something to do with ancient Rome. Now that we got that, let's see what the Bible says about men having wives, how many they can have, and all of this other stuff, right? Show you what our culture is. Everybody know that the law is what makes things right and wrong. When the brother asked earlier about was it wrong to go to Black Friday, what did I say? It ain't no law against it, right? If a brother asks, well, can I do this, or is it wrong to do this? It's whether it's a law against it or not. What the Bible says is where there is no law, there is no sin. Everybody understand that, right? First of all, before we go into this, let me get one thing out the way. This is more of a topic for the sisters, because brothers, when they hear multiple wives, they don't even have to get no precept on it. They like, oh, we can? Okay, cool. Somebody give me 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23. Chapter 10, verse 23. What is the strongest type of man in the truth? Somebody tell me that while we're going to this. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Man with no wives.
Y'all must be in Hebrew Academy. A man with no wives is going to be the strongest man in this truth, like Yahushua, like Paul, because he can fully go out and do this job. What Paul said is, no man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life. They can spend 24 hours a day teaching and sell out to the fact of doing this work. They ain't got nobody waiting on them. They ain't got to worry about nothing but doing this work, right? They are married to the truth. This is their wife. That's what it's talking about when they say a bishop must be blameless, the husband of one wife. It's not talking about a physical woman, because if that's the case, then Paul and Yahushua, who was both over the churches, could not be the men over the church if you had to have a wife. Just wanted to hit that real quick because I ain't had time to really go over them. Somebody got it? Go ahead and get it. 1 Corinthians 10 and 23. Let's get it real quick.
Oh, God. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23.
Nice and loud, huh?
Oh, God. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient.
Stop right.
All things are lawful.
Go ahead.
All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not.
All right, so stop right there. What you have to understand is there's some things that are lawful, but that don't make them the right thing to do. All right. Just because you can have more than one wife, that don't mean it's for everybody. Some brothers cannot control themselves, much less control their woman in their household, much less control more than one woman and multiple households. Just because it's lawful, that does not mean that that's what you're supposed to do. People get it twisted and think that it's encouraged for a brother in the UPK to have more than one wife, and it's exactly the opposite. It's exactly the opposite. If you can, Like Paul say, it'd be good if you did not have a rib. You would be a strong brother to fight the lust of having a woman to sell out for this truth. But to keep you from fornicating, dealing with whores and sleeping with other nations and dealing with other men's wives, then you need to go and get your own woman. I just wanted to get that out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because when we teach on this, a lot of brothers like, oh, okay, I can have this, that, and the other. Yeah, just because you can, that don't mean you should. I would encourage you to seek counsel. If you're a brother that barely making it to class, if you're a brother that, you know what I'm saying, can't even pay your tithes out of your own check that you got coming in, if you're a brother that don't never come to camp, if you're a brother that cannot follow orders, then you're not a brother that can give orders. The discipline that it takes to govern yourself, you need that times 10 when dealing with one woman, much less multiple women. Everybody understand, right? All right. Now that we got that precursor out the way, let's see what the Bible says and what Israelite culture is concerning this. Let's go back to the law. Let's start with the law real quick. Now I'm gonna run through these real quick. Some of them you already heard, right? Some of them you might not. Give me Exodus chapter 21. We're gonna start right there. Nope. Let me see. I might not want to start there. I might don't want to start there. Let me get. Yeah, let's go to Deuteronomy 21. Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 15. Let's go to the law. What does the law say about a wife? Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 15. If a man has two wives.
If a man what?
If a man has two wives.
If a man what?
If a man has two wives.
If a man has two wives, this is the circumstance, and this is the law, and this is how he has to deal with himself. Go ahead.
One beloved and another hated.
One that's sweet and nice and says kind out of one kind all the damn time, and one that's always in his ear and get on his last nerve. But he got two. Now, if there's a law about a man having two wives, what does that tell you about a man having two wives? Hold on. Go ahead, Itazar.
It means that having more than one wife is wrong.
That means that having more than one wife is not against the law. Or it would have said, if a man has a wife and gets another wife or something like that, or it would have said a man is not allowed to have two wives. But in the instance that he does, one beloved and one hated, go ahead. Go ahead, Bakwash.
And they have born him children, both the beloved and the hated. And if the firstborn son be theirs that was hated, then it shall be when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he had, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn.
All right, so this is the Lord telling you, don't be petty, don't penalize your child because of that mother. This is a law that tells you how righteous the Lord is when it comes to dealing with your women and your children and different things like that. It don't matter if you hate her, the law still stands. Now, this is what you have to understand. In them laws that in Rome about marriage, right? What happened was they started marrying these foreign women. Esau started coming in there and abducting them and marrying them and all of that till it got to the point where these women's fathers was like, no, you're not going to marry my daughter. So what they would do is they would marry them legally, which promised these women that they could get half of what this person owned. Marriage in America on that legally is a contract. It is a contract dealing with ownership and assets and all of that has absolutely nothing to do with love. Nothing. It's got something to do with government and money and all of this. That's why you can get prenuptial agreements. That's why they fighting to get 2 men married and 2 women and all of that other stuff. Legally, it's all about legalities and money, and it has nothing to do with the Lord and has nothing to do with love. Y'all understand that, right? All right. This is how you know that it has nothing to do with Israelite culture as well. Because in Israelite culture, instead of when you die, your wife inherits everything, your firstborn son inherits everything. Why cannot your wife inherit everything in Israelite culture and it's your firstborn son? Somebody tell me that. Why is it your firstborn son and not your wife? Go ahead. That's not the reason, though. Go ahead.
Because the son carried the seed.
Yeah, but I mean, the mama carried the son. Why wouldn't it be the mama?
So like the other one?
Go ahead.
I think it might be just like she might like just like give it to like the next nigga or like just waste their way. So like
that's highly possible. That's highly possible, but that's not the reason. I got one more person, and I'll give it to you for time's sake. Go ahead.
Is it because he's the firstborn? The firstborn son?
No, that's Israelite culture for your firstborn. I asked what was the reason why he get it and not the wife. Let me answer the question for time's sake. The reason is because it was lawful for a man to have more than one wife. So which wife is it that gets it when he dies? In Israelite culture, your seed carries on and continues to live and takes everything that you have. If he's righteous, he'll take care of all your wives the same way you did with his inheritance. Everybody get it? All right, so here's a law. If a man has 2 wives, this is what he must do. Even if he hate the first wife and both of them brought him children, he can't act like that firstborn is not the firstborn. He can't give the wife one. It's like I said, it's just the Lord saying, don't be petty. All right, so we got that. Let me move right along. I'm running out of time, and I got a lot to cover. I don't think we're going to get into all of it. All right, so Exodus chapter 21, verse 10 is talking about if you go in and we get another nation under our rule, right? And you getting like no, that's not this one. It's talking about if you get a sister and raised her up as your servant or whatever the case may be, because once again, servitude and slavery was legal in Israelite culture as well. Now, our slavery was nothing like the slavery we know, where you're talking about whips and hanging people and all of this other stuff. So when you hear that, you can't feel no type of way about it. The people in rulership will always have people to serve them. You can just call them employees if it make you feel more comfortable. All right. And you one of them right now. Go ahead to verse 10. Whoever got it. Let's go. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 21.
Nah, let somebody else get a chance. Somebody else on it. Yo, this nigga is quick on the draw. But Quash, you got the quickest. I need to know what app you using that you get to them scriptures that fast. But we'll talk about that another time. Let somebody else get it right now.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 10. If he take him another wife.
If he do what?
If he take him another wife.
That means he has a wife. This wife that he's talking about, that he got. And you can read up to find out what it's talking about. He had her as a servant. He chose not to give her to his son. He chose not to do this, that, or the other, but he chose to marry her. So now she is his wife. In Exodus verse 21 and 10, it says, if he do what?
If he taketh another wife.
So he already got this wife that he had, and now he take him another wife. What happens?
Her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall not diminish.
So what he was doing for that woman, if he was making sure she had food, making sure that she had clothes, and her duty of marriage. Somebody tell me what the duty of marriage is. Go ahead, officer.
It's sex, sir.
You ain't no officer.
Oh, I thought you said go ahead.
You right. I said go ahead, officer. Who is the officer?
No, I thought you said go ahead.
I know. I'm talking to the officer now. Who is the officer?
Oh, good luck.
Go ahead. The duty of marriage. So now, brothers want to always feel like, you know what I'm saying, like they got this, that, or the other. At the end of the day, your rib probably can go a little bit longer than you. I mean, you got two of them, three of them you got to take care of. That's a lot of work out. That's a lot of work. So you go get a new rib. You can't just be, you know what I'm saying, depriving the rib that you already had of her duty of marriage. That is due benevolence, is how they say it in the New Testament. That's due benevolence. Go ahead. Go ahead. Due benevolence. Salakia. Benevolence. Yeah. All right. You know what I'm saying. My point is, there is another law where a man has a wife and he gets another wife. And it tells you how to deal with it. The Lord is righteous concerning this. Now, go ahead.
You were saying that it's a lot of work when a brother has more than one wife, right?
It's a lot of work when a brother. Hold on, Salakia. Let me correct you. It's a lot of work when a brother has one rib. Uno. It's a lot of work. I'm telling you, this is what I'm telling you. This is what Paul said. If you don't got to do it, I would have you to be like me. But just to make sure. You don't see it as work?
No, not really.
Well, you must be like Sarah. You must be like Sarah, but all women are not like that. Women, like this brother was saying earlier, women need help fighting demons. Women need help understanding brotherhood. Women need help not being petty. Women need help with a lot of different things. Women need help. It could be a sister it's a sister right now that's making $100,000 a year. It's a sister making $100,000 a year right now that if she had a man of the Lord to help her, guide her in the right direction, she can do 10 times more than what she's doing with it. 10 times more. She would be able to support the men in the truth and still have everything that she's got right now. She would have less of a headache. All the things that the Lord said you're supposed to do for a wife, like she's supposed to be able to come in and drop all her problems on her husband's lap. And he's supposed to say, all right, do this way, do this that way, do this that way. And she's supposed to be like, oh, I ain't never thought about that. Kind of get it done, and it's supposed to work. In theory, that's how life is supposed to work. All right. Normally, with sisters, that just hold your peace 1 second. No, in theory, that's how it's supposed to work. Based on us being raised up in Rome or in America, we have a dream that's been sold to us about what marriage really is and how it should be. And we spend more time fighting about that. Do you know how many women have left good men that they love to death because he got another woman? They love this dude to death. He do everything right for her, but he got another woman. Guess what? They out. It's all based on a dream. And this is the reason why 88 or 80% of marriages in the black church end in divorce. Go ahead and say what you was gonna say, sis. Go ahead. I know I took you somewhere else real quick.
I'm sorry?
No, I said I know I took it somewhere else real quick, but what you was about to say?
Oh, I mean, I was just continuing, my question I asked because I was just saying it didn't occur to me that it seems like a lot of work, at least from a man's perspective.
Yeah, I know because you like, all right, all the stuff that a woman say that she do herself in America, like the independent women be talking about, I buy this and I do that and I work hard and I work 2 jobs and I take care of my kids and all this other stuff. A woman is supposed to have a man to help her do that the right way, to help her move through that. Now, it's a bunch of smart women that probably feel like they don't need a man to help her do it, but it would be a lot easier for her if she had a man of the Lord to help her do that. All right, so it's a lot that go into it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it could just be the sister at work that's saying something negative about the way that the Lord said it's supposed to be. And that demon has to be fought. And a sister can fight it, but it's a lot easier when it's a man of the Lord to help her fight it. You understand?
You mean fight having take advantage of a man?
Fight having demons that come in and get in your head. Sometimes it ain't even what you're looking at. It's just a demon. And a brother who is not in his feelings, who not as compassionate and nurturing and all of that, can deal with it on a level of being more logical about it than being more emotional about it. That's what they call like the yin and the yang, or whatever the case may be. A brother his masculinity is supposed to be the opposite of what her femininity is, and it's supposed to work together. This is the basis of a family, but we don't have that. The women want to be the man. This ain't my topic, but we can go there. That was the whole point. Before we even went there, we went into the role of a woman 2 weeks ago. We went into what marriage was, the week before last. And then we went into, what was adultery and all this other extra stuff. So we can get here and talk about it. What we're really talking about is a relationship, and the idea of what marriage really is in America is the reason why most marriages fail in America. Because it has nothing to do with the way the Lord set it up. Give me Genesis chapter 16, verse 3, real quick. Let me show you what I was talking about. You got a wife like Sarah, you know what I'm saying? Called Sarah referred to Abram as her Adawan, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's my head, this is my dude. The Lord said he gonna have kids. I know I can't have them. Somebody got it? 16 and 3, let's get it. Yamayan. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Gabar. Go ahead.
And he went on his journey from
16 verse 3. Genesis chapter 16 verse 3. Somebody else get it.
I got it out of one.
Go ahead.
Genesis 16 and 3. And Sarah, Abraham's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, and after Abraham had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abraham be his wife.
How can she give her to her husband to be his wife? What is this talking about? What was the original promise that the Lord gave to Abraham? It was about having seeds. It was about living on. This is the whole point of the family. If you don't get it, what people don't get in the midst of everything that's going on in marriage, and what we talk about multiple wives and all of that. If you want to, what it all boiled down to is, I need 25 kids. I need 25 sons. This is how my legacy moves on. And only the first one is going to get my inheritance. Right? That's what it's about. Now, I'm saying it that way just so you can understand in America how we've been taught. Like you look at having kids and seeds as a bad thing when this is your inheritance. This was the promise that was made to Abraham, that your seed will be as the sands of the sea, as the stars up in heaven. Nowadays in American life, if you got over 2 kids, they're like, who want all them damn kids anyway? It's a blessing from the Lord. It's a blessing from the Lord. Crickets. Niggas over there like, nigga, you ain't on child support, nigga. It's American lifestyle that's got us different. Give me 1 Samuel chapter 1. I'm gonna get to about 1 or 2 more. This is Samuel's father. I think his name is Ramoth Aim Zophim of Mount Ephraim. Salakia. His name is Elkanah. Elkanah.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
That scripture in Genesis 16:3 is a cut to those who think marriage is in the courthouse also, because
Of course. She didn't take him to no courthouse to get no ceremony. When it says she gave him to be his wife, it's wifed up. And guess what? She was so petty. After she did that and he got the son, she gave him to him. She like, man, get that bitch out my house. And if the Lord wouldn't have told him to do it, you know what I'm saying? But the Lord told him to do it, so he listened to it. Go ahead, somebody get it real quick, because they're gonna get us up out of here in about 10 minutes. 1 Samuel 1:1. We're gonna talk about Samuel's father. First of all, the cut is that the other cut was, this is Abraham. When you talk about the God in the Bible, you talk about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So if having more than one wife was an adultery, then you saying that Abraham, the man who the Lord promised and who all of the promises in the Bible hinge on, was an adulterer and deserved to be put to death. How much of a oxymoron? How much foolishness is that for you to call the man that the Lord picked and chose his chosen seed to be out of, to say that he's an adulterer? Go ahead and read it. Whoever got it, real quick, now. Come on. I'm gonna start talking again.
1 Samuel, chapter 1, verse 1. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim, Zaphet, of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu.
It's just giving his lineage. Go ahead to verse 2.
And he had 2 wives.
And he had what?
And he had 2 wives.
This is the father of Samuel. Anybody know who Samuel is in the Bible? Samuel was the one who anointed the kings of Israel. If I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Samuel did great things in working the Lord. Well, this is his seed. This is where he came from. His father, Elkanah. Read verse 2.
And he had 2 wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other was Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. And this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of the Lord, were there. And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons, and had her daughters portions. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but the Lord has shut up her womb.
So he took care of his wife, or whatever the case may be. If you read on in the story, you could end up with a brother who has another wife like this other sister that's in there. I think her name is Panina, whatever her name is, right? She was talking crazy about Hannah, like, bitch, that's why you ain't got no kids, and I got this and this, that, and the other. You could end up with a sister like that, that the brother could be married to. So if you ain't got a sister like that, you know what I'm saying, that really just out is spiteful, that's cool. But you know what Hannah did? Instead of going back and forth with her, she prayed to the Lord, and the Lord blessed her. Go to verse 20 real quick.
Verse 20. Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come, about after Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, because I have asked him of the Lord.
All right, stop right there. I just wanted to make sure y'all understood this is Israelite culture right here. It was practically normal for a man to have more than one wife. Let's get Genesis chapter 30 and verse 25, and we're going to get up out of here. Somebody give me Genesis 32 and 22. Don't write them down, Doc. I got them. Just go to them. Genesis chapter 30, verse 25. Somebody else give me Genesis 32 and 22.
Genesis chapter 30, verse 25.
Read it fast, Doc.
And it came to pass, when Rachel had born Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, send me away, that I may go unto my own place, into my own country. Give me wives and children.
Read that over.
For whom
that ain't what it says. Read it again.
Verse 26. Give me my wife and my children.
Give me my what?
For whom my wife.
Spell that.
And my children.
Spell that.
Wife. W-I-V-E-S.
All right, that's what it S. He wanted both his wives, and he was taking them with him, and he had done everything that he needed to do, and he deserved those wives, and he worked hard. Give me Genesis 32.
Slack you.
Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 32, verse 22. And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives.
And took what?
His 2 wives.
Keep going.
And his 2 women servants.
And his 2 women servants. Give me Judges chapter 8, verse 30. This is Israelite culture.
Okay, so what scripture was that?
That is
32 and what?
Genesis 32 and 22. Give me Judges 8 and 30. Officer Nashak, give me 1 Samuel 25 and 43.
Judges chapter 8, verse.
Go ahead. Judges 8 and 30. Go ahead.
Judges chapter 8, verse 30. And Gideon had 70 sons of his body begotten many wives.
Read it again.
And Gideon had 70 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives.
He had 70 sons of his body that he begot, because he had many wives. All right, the brother was able to have a whole bunch of kids because he had wives. You got that 1 Samuel for me out? Let's get it. 1
Samuel chapter 25, verse 43. David also took Anah of Jezreel, and they were also both of them his wives.
This is King David. Now we went through Abraham, we went through Jacob. Now you are the sons of Jacob. We went to Israel. Israel had more than one wife. That's what we was talking about. Now we had King David. Are all of these men adulterers? Are all of these men going against the Lord? Hell no. Give me 2 Samuel chapter 12 and verse 7. And I'll end it off with, now I'm going to try to get to it. I'm going to try to get to it. Go ahead.
What was that last scripture?
Oh, man, you got to keep up. Go back to YouTube. 2 Samuel chapter 12, where we at? That last, while they waiting, if Bakwash ain't already got it, it was 2 Samuel chapter 11. Salakia. It was 1 Samuel chapter 25 and 43. 1 Samuel chapter 25 and 43, what we got. Now, give me 2 Samuel chapter 12. Let's see if these men was wrong. Let's see if Abram, who is Abraham, let's see if Jacob, who is Israel, let's see if King David, a man after the Lord's own heart, was wrong for having more than one woman. This is what the scriptures say about Israelites. These are Israelites. You're an Israelite, right? You came up from a nation of people that was started with a man that had 4 wives. He had 2 wives, and his 2 wives gave him 2 wives, just like Sarah gave her husband another wife. Anybody got it yet? I'll read it. 2 Samuel chapter 12. Oh, you got it? Go ahead.
2 Samuel chapter, what verse?
Verse 7.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 7. And Nathan said to David, thou art the man. Thus saith the Lord of the Most High of Israel.
Thus says who?
Thus saith the Lord God of Israel.
Thus saith the Lord power. So this is what the Lord is saying to David. Now, this is after David sent the man out on the front line to have him killed so that he can have his wife. This is what the Lord had to say to David after he did this, which was wrong, by the way. That was almost an adultery. It was considered that in the eyes of the Lord. So this is what the Lord is saying to David. Thus saith the Lord God of Israel. Keep going.
I anointed thee king over Israel.
I anointed you king over Israel. Go ahead.
And I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul.
Go ahead.
And I gave thee thy master's house.
I gave you the king's house. I delivered you out of the hand of Saul. I anointed you king over Israel, and I gave you the whole kingdom, the master's house. Go ahead.
And thy master's wife.
And thy master's what? And thy master's wives. All Saul's wives, as he was the king, was given to David. The Lord is sitting here telling him, I gave you all these wives, but you want to go and take the next man's wife. What does that tell you about what the Lord is saying? He does not have a problem with you having more than one wife, but he got a real problem with you dealing with somebody else's wife. Everybody understand? Anybody don't understand? Now, this is going to be the last scripture. I got to do it like this. Give me Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. There's going to come a time where Israel's gates, we're going to be in war. And all of this is what it's talking about in the Bible in Isaiah chapter 3, right? We're going to be going to war. The gates going to be languished. We ain't going to have no protection. Our men are going to be fallen by the sword. If you don't believe me, just go to Isaiah chapter 23, verse 25. Now, this is the next scripture right after they close Isaiah chapter 23. Give me Isaiah 4 and 1. In that time, this is what's going to happen. Go ahead, somebody quickly.
Isaiah chapter 1, Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1.
Go ahead.
And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man.
7 women shall take hold of one man in that day. What day is that? It's a time as what we're going through right now. Women need protection. Women need guidance. Women need a man of the Lord to help them feel safe. All these gay niggas running around here, all these niggas that's going to let them do whatever they want to and dress how they want to and not protect them and not show them and tell them what the Lord need and all of that. They need a man, a real man in their life. And in that day, 7 women going to want to take a hold of one man. And what will they be saying?
Saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. When it says be called by thy name to take away that reproach, is because a woman is going to know if she's down with Nashop, she ain't no whore because Nashop don't play that. She ain't dressing like no whore. She ain't going out any kind of way. If she down with, you know what I'm saying, when she down with Officer Itazab,
then she's not out getting high and doing all kind of stuff, because Officer Itazab don't play that. She's going to be totally different. If she's down with Officer Sharatazar, she's not aborting her baby, because Officer Sharatazar don't play that. Everybody understands, right? This is taking away the reproach. She has a man. She ain't out being thirsty. She ain't taking ass shots on Facebook. She ain't doing none of that, because she has a man. And she's willing to do just like Sarah and Leah and Hannah and all of these women that's names in the Bible that shared their man. All right, we got to get up out of here. I want to finish this because even Christ went into a parable about the kingdom of heaven, and he used the fact that it was like 10 virgins marrying one groom. With that, I'm gonna turn the class over to priest and officer in the shop. And we'll get on it a little bit. If y'all have any questions, make sure y'all contact me or Officer Shawar ASAP. All right. Go ahead, the shop. You up.
Oh, God.